Hi everyone, today we're going to look at the C-More Micro HMI objects, meters, and graphs. And up on my screen here I have my C-More Micro software package, and I've already added 3 new pages: the real-time graph, the line graph, and also the analog meter and bar graph. And what we'll do is click on the real-time graph, and we can see these over in the objects under graphs, meters and graphs. And the real-time graph, what it will do is allow you to have up to 8 different inputs, and it will graph this physically on your device. So it acts pretty much like the old chart recorders did. So if we double click this, we'll take a look at our parameters, and you'll see here that we have a background color, our axis tick marks, we have labels that we can change in different colors, the X and Y. We have the major divisions, your axis grids, your tick numbers, and then the points per chart. In this case here we have 20 points per chart, and we have unsigned, and our range is actually 0 to 4095, which is going to represent an analog value that we're going to bring in. And then our refresh interval is going to be 1 second. So every 1 second this graph will actually read information from the PLC and plot that up onto the screen. If we look at the pen, we'll see that we're going to use 3 of 8 that we have for our pens. And the first one comes from MHR10, which is part of the Modbus address that we discussed last time. Pen number 2 is MHR11, and MHR12 is number 3. And they are represented by different colors, and we can change these colors if we wish. If we click on the 3 dots to the right hand side, this actually brings up our tag database, and we can actually see these MHR10, 11, and 12 right here. Cancel that. So that is our real-time graph. So the real-time graph is actually going to graph information as it happens at the interval that we've selected. And what we've done is when we select the real-time graph, we've just grabbed the sample 2 and actually put that right up on the screen and zoomed it out just like we did previously. Next, we're going to take a look at the line graph. Now in the line graph, again, I grabbed sample 2, brought it up. Now, unlike the real-time graph, the line graph itself will grab blocks of memory in the PLC and graphically put them up onto the display. So double click that, we bring up our information here. So here we have our label and Y, or X and Y labels, just as we had before. Our tick marks, our points per chart. In this case here we're going to have 10, and then we are going to have unsigned again, and our range 0 to 4095. Our refresh interval will be again 1 second, and what this represents is every 1 second it will go and grab the information and plot it out for us on our line graph. If we look at the pen option, we're going to select MHR20, MHR30, and MHR40. Now remember that it's going to create a block, so actually our addresses will actually be our Modbus 40,020 to 40,029, and 40,030 to 40,039, and 40 to 49. So because we chose 10 points, what that means is that we have to go 10 blocks of words per point that we've asked for. And then under the option we have the visibility, just like we do with most objects that we've been talking about. So we'll just take cancel on that one. So there's our line graph. And lastly we have our meter and our bar graph. So here's our meter, and on our meter we can show divisions again, clockwise, counterclockwise, our needle color, our display type, again, will be 0 to 4095, representing the analog input. Our object style, we can choose several different options. We have MHR13 in this case for our actual tag number. If we look at that, MHR13 is located right here, which is 40,013 on the Modbus address. Under our alarm band, we can change the colors for our low alarm color, our low alarm, our normal color, our high color, and our high alarm color. So let's hit OK for that. And our bar graph, or our analog meter, will actually just take the needle and move it out, down and up as we have the input signal. So all of these meters and graphs actually represent more than just an on-off. It's an analog range, or a group of range that will actually tell you what's happened in the past. So it's very useful when we look at PLCs. And the last one here is our bar graph. On our bar graph, we actually have our option here. We have our standard information, and then we have our tag name, MHR14, and our range, again, going to be the same, 0 to 4095, and then we can have our object style, so it can go up, down, left or right, depending on what you want to do with it. And under the option, we have our visibility as always. Cancel that. So we'll see that actually rising up and down. So we are currently connected to my micro HMI, and right here, and we are connected with it through our Ethernet port, and we are connected using the Do-More Designer software, which is located right here. And the first thing we did was our real-time graph. So on our real-time graph, if we just go down to our screen selection and enter, this is our real-time graph that we currently programmed. And remember, we did it for 1 second only, and we're using 3 inputs to go to MHR 10, 11, and 12. Now if we call up our simulator, we're actually using WX0, 1, and 2, which is actually our slider switches here. So put some information here on our slider switches, and you will actually start seeing the graph appearing on the screen. So every 1 second it updates it, and you can see how if I change my graph information here, it's going to change and then change back. So we can, as it's happening, we can see that information flowing onto our screen itself. On our next one, our line graph, where we actually are looking at values. The values themselves, we use data or MHR 20 to 29, 30 to 39, and 40 to 49, which are represented here in my data view. So let's call up that screen. And currently right now, it looks like that. So let's change this first one, and we'll change this to 4,000. And we'll write that point in. So we have 4,000 the first point. So now you can see that very first point, which is my black one, which is right here. It's up to 4,000 now. And then it dips down to 200. So let's change that 200. We'll do 3,000. right that. So again, after the 1 second delay, we actually have that 3000 located right here. Then here we can go 1000. So you can see as these values or these range of values change, so does my graph itself. So then the next one we have is our analog meter and our bar graph. So let's just call them up. Okay, so there's my analog meter and my bar graph, and they are represented by WX3 and WX4, which is represented by MHR13 and MHR14 in our Modbus on our simulator here. So let's again call up our simulator, which is X3 and X4. So here, this one represents my meter, and as you see, as I increase that meter up to the full range and then back again, you can see how that meter is actually working. We'll just leave it right in our green area there at 2842. And then the last one is our bar graph, which is WX4. So as we increase it, you'll actually see it increasing on our display screen as well. So tanks filling, cylinders going in and out. We can actually monitor the actual device and display to the operator exactly what happens. And you can see the response is quite quick on this unit itself. So let's leave it about there. So 1634. Alright, so meters and graphs, excellent tools that are provided in our Micro HMI package. Now, all the links and documentation can be found on our website at accautomation.ca. If you like this video and like to see more, there are 3 ways in which you can help us out. You can give us a thumbs up so other people can find this information just as you have. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also go to ACC Automation and subscribe to our website. When you do, notification will be given to you every time we publish new content to the site. You'll also get 2 free ebooks on numbering systems and robust data logging. And the last thing to do to help us out is to tell a friend or colleague about the site. Alright, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.